Yeah, I'm really feeling the humble here, I'm telling ya.
My 15-year-old was studying biology and his teacher was an atheist.
Okay, first of all, I'm getting rid of the music and fixing the voice quality. It's only 4 minutes long, but geez, that's just painful. Hooray for AI.
And he came and told me that he was studying biology and he said that his teacher said that we can explain life without God. And I said that biologists should not interfere with cosmology.
What? He said we can explain life without God. That's biology! Biology is about life. Cosmology is about the cosmos. Do we get it?
A biologist should stay in biology and not start talking about cosmology, because that's another science, cosmology.
Yeah, cosmology is another science. The one the teacher wasn't talking about. Biology is about life. Not a good start.
And it reminded me of the joke about the biologists that meet God, and God asked them what they're up to, and they said, well, we've gotten rid of you. And God asked the biologists, how did you get rid of me? And they said, well, we can explain how we got here without you. And he said, well, how would you do that?
Man, worst joke teller ever.
They said, well, first we take some cosmic dust.
Cosmic dust? There's no cosmic dust in biology.
And God says, no, wait a second. Get your own dust. Right?
Was that supposed to be the punchline?
You see, because where did it all start? Where did we come from? Even if evolution explained how we have evolved as a species, it doesn't explain where the original material came from.
Right, because evolution is a theory about the diversity of life. That's what it's there to explain. It doesn't explain cosmic dust in the same way chemistry doesn't explain nuclear fusion. That's how scientific theories work. This is like complaining that an electrician can't fix your sink.
Man cannot bring anything into existence from nothing. He makes organs from already existing cells. The cloning comes from already existing cells.
Cloning? You think there's cloning in evolution?
He's now in stem cell research and doing all of these things.
Who is? Are we still talking about the guys in the joke? Or are we back to your son? This video is kind of all over the place.
Everything that he makes has pre-existing materials. We cannot make anything out of nothing. It's impossible for humans to do that because nothing comes from nothing.
I don't feel like going over all of this again, so I'll just say I times gamma mu times partial derivative mu minus mass times psi equals 0. You want to know any more? Look up the Dirac equation.
And this is why my own teacher said, كَذَبَ الْمُلْحِدُونَ. The atheists are liars.
And this is why I say you're a moron.
الْعَدْمُ لَا يُوجِدُ الْوُجُودِ. Non-existence cannot bring existence.
And this time I'll just give the Schrödinger equation. While you're looking that up, check out the Casimir effect.
الفوضى لا يكون النظام. Anarchy or chaos cannot bring order into existence.
Look up spontaneous organization. Happens all the time. We see it in biology, astrophysics, neuroscience, computer science, economics, and we see it from the microscopic level in molecules and cells up to the level of galaxies. And the effect is used in all sorts of applications, like traffic management, wireless communications, electric grids, online marketplaces, logistics and supply chain management, search engines, online streaming platforms, e-commerce, all sorts of things. If we were limited to the technological acumen of this guy, we wouldn't even be able to make a difference engine. Heck, we could barely manage an abacus.
Ignorance cannot bring knowledge into existence.
Well, your video is certainly evidence of that.
And then he said, إنما هي انتكاس عقلي كمن يمشي على رأسه ورجلاه في الهواء. This is the inversion, this is an intellectual inversion of reality, like somebody who's walking on his head and his feet are in the air.
What is that even supposed to mean? I can make more sense out of Deepak Chopra than this guy.
That this is something that humans have never believed.
What is it we've never believed? I'm completely lost.
And this argument now of the modern atheists, this is an ancient argument. Atheists have always been around. In fact, atheists were actually more sophisticated 100 years ago than they are today.
Or maybe we're a lot more sophisticated than you and have kept up with the science.
And this is the truth, because 100 years ago, they were well-versed in philology, like Nietzsche. They were well-versed in, they were profound philosophers.
And you think we aren't? We know all of that. We've read Nietzsche and Hume and Voltaire. We just know a little more besides. Knowledge didn't stop 100 years ago, you know. Of course, your knowledge stopped 1,200 years ago, so there we are.
Even at the time of Socrates, there were atheists. People forget that Marx, who was an atheist.
Who's forgotten that? What are you even talking about?
He did his PhD dissertation was on the materialists, the Greek materialists. So he had studied materialistic philosophy.
This sounds like it's really getting off the rails, if it was ever on the rails. Atheism is just the position that the existence of God has never been sufficiently demonstrated. Now he's bringing in nihilism, Marxism, and philosophical materialism. I don't even think he knows what he's talking about.
So this argument, this modern argument, is not a new argument. It's a very old argument, and our scholars dealt with this argument extensively, but people don't read their books anymore.
No, we read the books, and we're not convinced. And you based your entire argument on concepts that have been completely falsified. I even showed the equations. So maybe you're the one who needs to pick up a book or two. Why don't you start with A Universe from Nothing by Lawrence Krauss?
And one of the simplistic views of some of these modern Muslims that deny theology and the tradition of theology, they have no response to these new atheists.
Finally, something I agree with. So what's your response?
They have no response other than to say kuffar.
Gesundheit.
But this is not enough, because Muslims have always dealt with these things intellectually in a tradition called Radd al-Shubuhat, which is refutation of the obfuscations that are brought out by the atheists.
Okay, care to elaborate? I mean, be quick about it. You only got 30 seconds left.
So it's important for us to remember that we were created to adore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but to know Him through ma'rifah, and this is through the intellect, first and foremost. And our intellect is a spiritual concept.
I really have no idea who this is supposed to convince and how. Okay, look, 16 seconds left. Your claim and the title of the video is Atheists Are Liars, so get to it. How are atheists liars?
The intellect is immaterial. It's not of this world. And this is why we don't know where we go when we dream, but we know that we leave this place and we enter into another realm because we're in a realm that's immaterial.
Okay, I'll give you this. It's not everyone who leaves me at a loss like this. Like all your other crap, you have an extremely primitive idea of what's going on. Dreaming is a completely internal function of our brain, processing experiences of our conscious minds while we sleep. This is another area where you might want to crack open a book or two. you'd learn that this is how the brain consolidates memory and recall, processes our emotional reactions, cleaning out and organizing information, and is basically mental housekeeping of everything you experience during the day. In fact, some neuroscientists think that we don't really experience dreams at all. Our brains are just creating the memories of the dreams, and that's what we experience. Either way, we don't go into another realm when we dream. And this is the one and only factual claim you made in support of your assertion that we're liars. Because when we dream, we go somewhere else. Seriously, I don't know what I was expecting, but it was nowhere near as dumb as what I got. So thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe, leave a comment, and go to donate.pagosity.tv to keep me doing what I do. And check out all the great content here, like this video selected just for you.